Welcome to the NoOffice podcast. My name is Rafał and I'm VP of Product at Nozbe. In our company, we believe that work is not a place to go. It is a thing that you do. That's why, since 2007, we have been running our company 100% remotely. In Nozbe, we work at NoOffice. The NoOffice podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app that helps modern teams do great things. Go to nozbe.com to learn more.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello. Welcome to the first episode of our brand new podcast, NoOffice FM. I'm Rafał, and I had a great pleasure to do this podcast together with CEO of Nozbe, Michael Sliwinski. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hi. Excited. We've been, NoOffice is a way of life. So for us, and it's been like this forever. I mean, you've been working with me for 7 years now, almost.
Yeah. And the whole company is working like this in the NoOffice model. That means 100% fully remotely for over 13 years. Yeah, since 2007.
Yeah. And I've been working like this forever. Like people have been asking me many times, so Michael, but I'm sure before all that, you went to a job, right? To work. And the only time I remember going to work was when I was doing an internship when I was in college.
Yeah.
I was doing an internship, several internships. So for the local government in Gdynia, in my hometown, and also in Germany, there was a whole internship program, and I was going to several companies to work. But apart from these experiences, I never went to work. When I graduated, I set up my internet consultancy freelance business, and my thesis. So my my end of college, thesis, master thesis, how I got my master's degree was about extremely virtual enterprises, EV for a shortcut, and it was about companies working remotely.
Yeah, and what year was that?
2003.
2003. Yeah, so already there were company working remotely.
Yes, I mean, especially like what blew me away at that time in the States was the mobility of people. Like in America, people moved for work many kilometers, like really, really many kilometers, and still like many people do teleworking. They were called not remote working, but teleworking was the phrase. Remote working is the new modern version of it. And the cool thing was that the mobility of people was just much bigger in the States than in Europe. In Europe, people hardly move for work. I mean, now they move more, but they didn't 17 years ago. But the cool thing is that even then, in 2003, the technology stack was already okay-ish. It was like, let's say it was like my early days of iPad only. So you could do it, but it was kind of, difficult. But now, man, it's 2020. Like people who still say that, remote is not feasible, remote will not work for them, remote is not, this is bullshit. Like, this is really not true.
I feel like we are at the moment when the remote work is started to not only be for these early adopters, but for the mainstream.
Yeah, and if we have any silver lining from the pandemic, is this that finally, like, companies had to go remote. They just were forced to do it, and they realized, like, wow, actually, people are working from home. Like, they're not really slacking off. They're not binge watching Netflix all the time. They're actually getting stuff done, and actually sometimes like faster and better than they did in the office. And people are surprised. And when I was saying to people like that this works, that this is great, that our company is fantastic doing that, and that many companies, like lots of knowledge workers, could do it, everybody would tell me, no, it just works for you because you're this unicorn company. You're like, the snowflakes. It works for your small team of Nozbe. You have this small program there, this small app, whatever. Like, it would never work for us because we're very creative. We need to be, next to each other and all that BS. So it's like, oh man, finally, I think just finally, people are ready to listen because
Yeah.
they've experienced it. And that's why I believe that this is the best moment to start this
Yeah,
podcast.
exactly. People are ready to listen, and we are ready to share our 13 years of experience.
Exactly, and we are this overnight success that happened in 13 years. So, so we want to share our experience because we've learned how to do remote well over these years. Like we have struggled, we have had our ups and downs, like in any type
Yeah.
of work, but we've learned a ton. And I feel, we'll get to my book in a second, but I feel like the podcasts are right now the best medium to share this because people, well, they don't commute so much to work as they used to, but still they
Yeah.
do sports. They go on bike rides. They go on runs. They go on walks. And podcasting, even in this pandemic, is still being on top as a way to listen to things. And for me, the podcasting is brilliant. I never listen to radio anymore because this podcasting is so much better. I choose the shows I listen to, and that's perfect. So. And there are virtually no ads. So I think this is the way to go. That's why my book, which we'll get to, is important. But our podcast will be even more important to just keep talking to people, keep answering questions, keep digesting and
Yeah.
diving deeper into some of the subjects to really explain why remote can work and why it can be something really cool.
Especially for me, it's great timing because I was doing a podcast for 2 years in Polish about technology and so on. But I started to struggle to really have free time because it became my second job, and I still wanted to do the podcast, but I needed to have a free time to really. To really maintain this work-life balance. That's another topic we will be covering in this show probably in the future. Yeah, and I gained the skills to do the podcast, and now I can really use it as part of my normal day work. Yeah.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to share here for everyone. This is a kind of cool insider knowledge. So we are speaking English. We're both Polish. For
Yeah.
you, it's a great way to practice English. I've been practicing English on the podcast.fm with Raju for the last 4 years. But I've been always speaking English professionally. But the thing is, our company, like human-wise, we're all Polish.
Yeah.
We were all Polish, and a year ago, or a little bit more than a year ago, maybe 2 years ago already. I don't. It's a blur.
No, it was last year. Last year,
Yeah,
we started
to push switching to English.
Yeah.
We decided, guys, we are a global company. Nozbe is being used by 700,000 people all over the world. It's a global app. It's not a local Polish app for local Polish market. So, but we were still behaving a little bit internally like a local Polish team. And just speaking Polish, having our Polish gags and all that stuff. So we switched gradually to English. We encourage that in the team. We encourage that by also giving people perks, like additional money for English courses or English conversations or whatever. So with that, because I said, guys, we are all Polish, but this isn't gonna last. At some point, we will be a much more diverse and international team. We're right now all Polish, but it's gonna change because remote, as like NoOffice doesn't have boundaries. Like we can hire anyone from anywhere. Like it's just because we're Polish, because it was more convenient or whatever. But we're not gonna be hiring from Poland, and I mean all the time. And even in our team, people who are Polish not necessarily live in Poland. We have a person living in Germany. We have two people living in Spain. So it's. We had a person like she moved back to Poland, but she was in Taiwan. So it was like, so we have people from all over the world anyway. So we did the change, and just last month, for the first time, we hired a first non-Polish employee, Marco. Shout out to Marco. He's our videographer and audio and video and graphics designer.
If you are watching this on YouTube, that's his job.
Exactly. So, and Marco is Portuguese. He lives in Poland because he has a Polish fiancée, which is always a good choice. Polish girls are fantastic. I'm telling that to my wife all the time. So anyway, we have first non-Polish speaker in our team, and now we're hiring front-end developers, and half of them are not from Poland. Like for half the top candidates right now for the job. So our team is going to be increasingly English speaking. So this is also a big shift for us.
Yeah, and it was hard for even for me at the beginning when we started to push this English policy, let's say, because I always knew English, but I really never had opportunity to use it, like to talk English on daily basis, to use it regularly. So. And I noticed it last year on several conferences, meetups, when I needed to talk in English, that it took me a lot of effort because I needed to think twice, not only what I'm going to say, but second, how I'm going to say it in English. Yeah. And now for this year, for my 2020 goals, I wrote down this goal: record a podcast episode in English. And here we are recording. This is my first ever podcast episode recorded in English. So I want to listen to it in 3 or 4 months and laugh at myself how bad my English was.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. And the process is because I had been podcasting for more than 2 years in Polish, but I gained the skills to do the post-production, montage. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so I will do the montage of this podcast, and that way I can hear my mistakes. And I hope that way I will learn faster. Because you said we have this perks for our employees. If they want to learn English, we support them. Yeah,
we pay for the classes.
Yeah, pay for the classes. But I don't want to waste time for only learning English.
Yeah.
Like I want to learn by doing something, by creating a content or doing something productive, doing the work.
Yes.
So that's the idea. That was mine. One of my main motivation to really push you to create this podcast.
I've been podcasting with Raju for many years, and recently we slowed down. It's it's a dynamic. Like Raju right now is focused on different things, so it's fine. So for me, it's good that we have this venue to talk, and also I realized that for me to promote Nozbe teams, to promote what we're doing, to promote our way of work, I need to be also any way I can need to be more visible. So also I've been doing, as you have seen, lots of interviews recently, and now this podcast would be a regular thing. I will have I have my team productivity vlog, which is another thing I'm doing. So with that, I want to also be more visible to really the idea is to share our why we work like this and how we work like this. So, you in this podcast, you will get both why we do what we do and then how we do it and all the steps behind it. And this is, another thing I've been doing recently was customer onboarding. So all the Nozbe team's paying customers could have a conversation with me.
Yeah.
Completely for free. I was at their disposal helping them onboard their team. And in these, conversations, what I realized is that they didn't just buy Nozbe teams for their team because of the app. Because yes, the app is great, but they also bought it because they like how we work. They like how we do things, and that's why we came to this conclusion to start this podcast to just reach broader audience of people who might like things and the way we do things, like kind of in what Seth Godin always says in marketing, like to really show like this is for you but not for you. If you're like us, or if you're a person that appreciates things like us, or if you're a person that likes to do things the way we do things, then it's for you. If you're not the kind of person, it's not for you, and it's fine.
Yeah. We have just released our new new app, Nozbe Teams, in March, we were so focused on the what part, what on the product, what it does, what feature it
Yes.
has, that we, even if we have this why our company exists, we know this, but we failed to communicate it both internally and
Yes.
externally. So
Mhm.
and so here we are. We know we have a great product. Maybe not for everyone, but
Mhm.
for the one who gets it, this is the great product. And now we want to communicate why and really promote not only the product, but this is the way we work, the way we live, because
Mhm.
it's not only, it will not only be about work, because as we said, work-life balance is important part of our values. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we want to share with you not only how we work, but who we are, what we do after work.
And I'd like to correct you there because I prefer to say work-life balancing because it's not,
Balancing.
because
Yeah.
because you never achieve balance. You keep balancing. It's
Yeah.
a constant. It's a verb. You keep doing that because sometimes you just work too much and then but sometimes you go there. You need a little bit more, free time. So you keep on balancing. That's why I prefer to call it like this because it just shows the how dynamic it is to really do it because you never achieve balance. You keep balancing.
Yeah, that I like it. Work-life balancing. Yeah.
All right. So with that, let's move to also another topic, my book that we're gonna ship
Yeah.
very soon. So here I'm doing something that Derek Sievers, which we say hi to. Derek Sievers, we love you. Said you never should do. You never should announce your goals before you do them because then you'll never do them. Um, but actually, for this one goal, I need some more accountability, and I need more people, checking up on me and asking me how Michael, how are you doing? So finally, I'm back at writing the NoOffice book. So we decided that we not only need the podcast, we not only need our blog on Nozbe, we not only need my blog, my personal blog, we need a book
Yeah.
that reflects what we are all about, how we work, and the NoOffice book. We've been talking about this book forever. I think on the first reunion where or second reunion where you were attending, we were talking about this book already. So it was like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was, and the trouble with writing a book is that you always feel like a little bit like a fraud because I feel like I don't know everything about remote working. I know a lot, but I still feel like I don't know everything. And then I might write something which is not completely true, or it's just true for me, but not for everyone. So you always have these doubts. Maybe you shouldn't be the one writing it. There must certainly be an expert who knows more and who's just better, right? But on the other hand, uh, we've learned so much. We've tried so many things. And whenever I explain any concept from this book to somebody, they are like blown away. They're like, "Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, we could try that. Oh, I didn't know you could do that
Yeah.
like this." So this, finally, and now this pandemic, especially when people just, were forced to do remote, like really motivated me to finally just, drop everything. So in August, I'm dropping everything. I'm not going to be the CEO of Nozbe or VP of marketing of Nozbe. I'm, leaving company in your hands, basically.
Yeah.
And and I'm going to just write because I have the outline. I have everything prepared. You can check it on NoOffice.org, nooffice.org. And it's all there. And it's just a question of writing it. So it's just a question of me opening my iPad in the morning and just writing. So this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And the cool thing is the book will be released as an open source project. So every other expert who feel they know something, they can contribute. This book will live, will develop itself. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the idea. I didn't want it as a traditional book, published once, shipped.
Yeah.
Like, for example, they have this book, David Hanneman Hanson and Jason Fried, they have this book, Remote, Office Not Required, which is pretty good. But it's not up to date. It's several concepts in this book could be just written better or just more developed. but it's there. The book is there, and that's it. And actually, these guys, they're publishing other stuff online to like augment the book. But I feel like a book could be a living project, could change, could have a version number, like like
Yeah, but that's the way they did this book about shape up.
exactly.
They
It
are
keeps
still
changing.
adding new chapters, new version. That's version 1.4 or so on.
Exactly. The shape up book that they do. And by the way, all the links to this episode will be in the show notes. The official address will be nooffice.fm/1 for the first episode. So you'll find everything here, just for the record. So anyway, that's the idea. The book will be completely open source. It will be written on GitHub, so with an open repository, so everybody can read it. And actually, it will be automatically published on nooffice.org, a website. So it's going to be all there, all transparent. And on GitHub, people can have pull requests. They can just change chapter, suggest edits or suggest other ideas to the chapters. No problem. And the whole book will be released under Creative Commons share alike license, which basically means you can just copy it and put it anywhere without asking me for permission. Just give me some credit. So just link to link back to the book site, to the book page, or whatever. But that's the idea, that I hope this book will be spread more. In my wildest dreams, I hope we'll have more translations of the book. Thanks to that, because people will be just hopefully using their time to actually translate it to different languages. So I'm going to support all that. We ourselves are doing several translations, which we'll get to it. So that's the whole thing. Open source book, licensed as a Creative Commons license, so anybody can copy it and post it, repost it, mix it, remix it. I think let's hope we can spread the good word about NoOffice.
Yeah. And as I remember, you want to publish this thing on Amazon when you can print this book, yeah?
Yes. So, of course, a paper copy would be great. So we want to print our own paper copies once the first version is done. Like we have quite, like, we have already all the connections and all the experience, because my previous book, 10 Steps to Ultimate Productivity, has been self-published. So so we know how to do it. So we want to print some of this on our own, just also to give as gifts and as other perks to people. So we want to do this, but also we want to do the print on demand on Amazon. So you can just get paperback, it's print on demand, and all the proceeds from Amazon sales will go to charity. So this way, like, it's not our idea to get rich on the book. We want to spread the word, and if some people, just checking out the book and we'll see that it's been sponsored by Nozbe teams, will want to try Nozbe teams, then it's great. And then this is where we earn our money, on Nozbe teams. But we won't be heavily promoting it in the book. The book is about the way we work, not about the app.
Printed book is a great perk, for example, when you attend some conferences. Like, not right now because of COVID, but I remember last year I was on this product conference in Hamburg, and I went there by car. So I took like 20 copies of our 10 Steps book, and I just gave it to the people I talked to. Yeah, and yes. Well, actually, one of them started to reading it right away, and had some feedback the next day for me.
Oh, cool!
Yeah. So that was cool. And once when I did a small presentation on product meetup, after the presentation, after the questions, I said, "Okay, guys, I have some books for you, for those who asked me a question, or if you want to ask another question, just approach me in the chill zone, and I will give you a book." Yeah, and that drove some nice conversations.
Okay, I can tell you a story. So I have these friends in my hometown, and there are, I think, several families that we know with my wife, and we had this very nice family picnic, and one of the families was new, and the woman there, she just she was talking to me like what I'm doing, whatever, and I said, yeah, I'm this guy. I have this Nozbe app, and she was like, huh, wait. So I think I had a book. I read a book about your app, this 10 Steps to Ultimate Productivity. Uh, the book was pretty good. Who wrote it? I did. She- and it turns out she got the book because her husband was on a conference where we were giving this book and signing this book, and he took the book. She read it, so it was like, yeah, it's funny.
So keep writing this book on August, because it will do the work of promoting the NoOffice lifestyle.
The NoOffice lifestyle, exactly. Yeah, and another thing I want to mention about the book. We are a productivity company, right? So we get stuff done, and we're all about getting stuff done. So, and we are a little bit, a little bit special this way. So it's all about tasks. It's about 10 tasks need to be done. So also with this book, we are. I like the process where we have invented for this book. So it's going to be actually a project, a joint project with me and Magda. Magda is our VP of everything in Nozbe. She is the also. I mean, she's mostly responsible for content for our blog and for everything that I write, because she's my tireless editor. And because of that, the whole process will be really cool, because I'm just going to be focused on writing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything else. And once I write a chapter, I publish it to GitHub, so it's already visible to everyone. But then Magda edits it, and we have this thing that she edits it, and she lets me know in a task. In Nozbe Teams, we will have a project, and then every chapter will be a task. And in this task, she will mention, me, that Michael, I've edited this chapter. So I have 1 day to review the edits. If I don't review the edits, it means I silently agreed to her edits, and she sends the chapter to our editor in the States, so that we can really make sure that we have proper English, and then she sends the same chapter to our Polish, Spanish, and Japanese translators.
Yeah.
So the rest of our team, so for example, Dominika for Spanish, so Magda for Polish, Dominika for Spanish, and Martyna for Japanese, will be reviewing editing the translators' work. So we're actually paying for the translators to do the translation, but then our team is editing the translators, because all of these people like Martyna, Dominika, Magda know me very well, so they can really make sure that it's this written word. This is something Michael would say or Michael would do, and then we just publish it on GitHub as well, and on the site. So the whole so the idea is this: I write, but then once I publish a chapter, everything magically happens in the background, and Magda coordinates the whole thing. So it's going to be lots of work for them, especially for Magda. But thanks to that, I can just focus on writing. I don't have to do anything else. For me, August is just for writing. Then everything that comes after August will be about promotion and about all the other stuff. But August is just for writing, and I find it really cool, because then it helps me really sit down and just focus on this and not think about anything else.
Yeah. Okay. So two things came to my mind when when you were talking right now. First, I really like this silent agreement thing for 1 day, so it keeps process moving. So
exactly.
We'll be able to ship this book thanks to this, and we can always change it if something is wrong, because it will have future versions.
Exactly.
Yeah. And second, aren't you afraid that focusing on only one activity during the whole month will be is too easy to burn you out? Because sometimes you just need a very easy task, like to switch, to let your brain rest.
Yeah, I have my personal blog that I just launched, and I'm going to be writing there as well some thoughts and stuff. And I have this new personal blog, michael.team, which I launched just recently, and I love it. I love all the aspects of it, technology and all that stuff. I've been finally coding back Like
Yeah.
I was using our Fridays. We'll talk about Fridays in a second. So I was using our Fridays to learn to code again. Because as you know, I wrote the first version of Nozbe, but after that, Tom took over and then all the other developers, and they are much better than me. But I still like programming. It's, I'm not a good programmer, but I like programming. I like building Legos, out of
Yeah.
programs. And
Yeah, but
and
you're a good enough programmer for your personal blog.
exactly, and I'm a good programmer to do lots of things, but I'm just slow. I mean, this is not my main thing, but I love doing it. It just brings me joy. So I, for example, had to learn the newest technologies, for example, for styling, CSS, SAS, all that stuff, and I loved it. Like I love that I could learn something completely new. And the same with JavaScript. Like the modern JavaScript is just fantastic. Modern HTML5 also. Like there are so many things. Just think about it. I have a decade of almost no programming. So like I did lots of programming from 2007 to 2010.
Yeah.
And then basically I stopped, and now it's 2020. So for me, I've been following more or less programming, but for me, getting back to programming just for myself, just as my own pet project, is fun. So I have that always to turn back to, and but because the rest of the time I want to spend with my family. So August should be a family time. The idea is that it is supposed to be kind of a sabbatical, so that I really rest, because this first half of the year was very intense, as we know.
Yeah.
I was working a lot, man. I checked the stats from my last quarter. I've never been working so much in my life. Like it's I was constantly doing 8 to 9 good hours of work. I mean, not time at work, good hours, like billable hours, let's say, because I count only these. I count my deep work, my meetings, and my shallow work, but still, work. And I don't count any time, doing lunch or slacking off or browsing Twitter. This doesn't count as work. So like last quarter was brutal. I worked a lot, and I mean, you could see that I worked a lot. So I need this rest. But for me, this active rest, so I can, write the book, a little bit tweak my blog, and apart from that, just spend time with family. I think it's going to be great for me.
Yeah,
with
so
all that,
it connects very nicely to what you said in the beginning, work-life balancing.
yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we discovered that the pandemic hit us, and it hit everyone. And the pandemic was exhausting for us. It was double exhausting because we just launched Nozbe Teams, which was like a combination of our years of work. So with all that, and then we also had some few situations in the company which we didn't expect. So everything just went together in this one quarter. Like this last 3 months were like like a year. So. They were all exhausted. We were all exhausted. We are all exhausted, actually, like the whole team. So that's why right now we are, trying to push people to have vacation.
Because of the pandemic, though, traveling wasn't possible, so people didn't took vacation.
Yeah, and we as remote workers, we like to stay at home and do our work, but we also like to socialize. And socializing was also limited because you have to keep social distancing. You couldn't you shouldn't go to big gatherings anyway. So for that, it was kind of exhausting. So August for me will be family time, but because I really want and need to write this book, I negotiated with my wife that I will spend at least 2 hours a day writing. So. It's the question for me is just to get up a little bit earlier before the family and just write. Maybe that in some other time also, but just and the rest of the time just focus on family. So I'm not going to be bored. Don't worry about it. And the thing is that the topics in this book, they are exciting. They're things that I want to share. I'm dying to share them in one coherent way. So for me, the chapters. Let's talk about the structure of the book, because it's divided into two parts. The first part is how you can work better, whether you have an office or not. So it doesn't matter if you have an office or you don't have an office, if everybody goes to the office or not. There are several things you can do differently, better, that would just benefit you long term. So this is the first part, and then based on that, we have the second part, which is, and what if there was no office and you could just based on the habits and skills that you just acquired in the first half of the book, how can you make it even more better and push your company to be completely not reliant on an office, and having an office as a tool, like when you need
Yeah.
it, but not really as a mandatory tool.
Yeah, so that's cool. Now, first you teach people the good habits, how they can really do it, and then with that skills, the switching to no office may be no brainer or very easy.
Yeah, because the thing is, the problem with office is that it promotes lots of bad habits, like really bad habits, like this habit of just walking to somebody and just interrupting them
Yeah,
in their work. Like this is the worst habit ever. Second, going for coffees and just just too many times with your coworkers, so they just don't even have a time. Also, creating meetings out of the spur of the moment because you can, because everybody's here. Like all these things are, and there are more, but all these things are really bad habits. Like existence of office just promotes, and it's not because office is so evil, it's because we are humans and we are just weak.
yeah,
So to change these habits, to break these habits, we need to be more conscious about them, and institute kind of policies, and learn to not do that, to not just be talking to people and just be interrupting people and making meetings without preparation and just all that stuff. So um, this is what I want to show in the book.
and when you don't have an office, when you work remotely, you just need to develop the skills to communicate that way. That way, and the pandemic forced people to really learn this. And I hope many companies would stick to working remotely. And let's hope they will read your book and get inspired.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about remote work is not, you don't have to go like all in like we do, like completely 100% remote, but just giving people this option, because if you just give people an option to do remote work, first you have to set up your company in a different way to make sure that
Yeah,
things get communicated. But second, you communicate trust. Look, man, work from home. I trust you, man. I got you. Like this is such, like we always say, because there is a saying, trust is good, control is better. And we say control is good, but trust is so much better. And actually, in my vision document, I think I even said it better. I said, um, control of work is good, but trusting to do the work is even better. That you should trust people that they will do the work. And by doing that, like people will work better for you. They will work better with you because, there's trust.
okay, so let's try to wrap up this episode. One more topic. This episode, we will publish it once per 2 weeks on
Ah,
every
yeah.
Friday.
Mhm.
Every Friday. And Friday is a special day in our company. We call it MightyFriday.
Exactly. So we will be publishing this podcast every 2 weeks on a Friday, because Friday is special. So we changed the name of this policy. We called it TGIF. So thank goodness it's Friday. But we prefer to call it Mighty Friday. So the idea is this: in our company, we are really crazy because not only we work remotely, but also we work only 4 hours for 4 days a week. Like 4 days a week, we work on current stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then the fifth day is special because it belongs to the employee, it belongs to the team member. They design Friday on their own for like the way they want to do it, and they should avoid working on current stuff, right?
Yeah. And yeah, sometimes it's really hard because after 4 days of a week, you are left with many small tasks that are very easy to finish, and there's very tempting to do that on Friday. And yeah, sometimes it's hard to change the due date or set a reminder for the next week to this task.
Yeah, but because what you should do on a Friday is two things. First, review your week. So do the weekly review. And weekly review has been promoted by David Allen in his fantastic book Getting Things Done. Weekly review is reviewing a week, checking how your week went, and looking forward next week, seeing your calendar and seeing what you have planned and planning what you're going to do next week. This way, when you come to work on Monday, you know exactly what to do. You don't have to choose, things to do. You have already planned it on Friday. It's all, put in your mind, and you can just
open Nozbe Teams and you have your priority tasks for today because you plan it on Friday.
On Friday, exactly. So that's one thing, and we have discovered in our company, and we are a productivity company, that many people were not doing and are still struggling with weekly review. So that's why we introduced Fridays as a day for weekly review. And then second thing, on a Friday, what you should do is this is the day for your personal development. Because, Rafał, every company in their mission statement, they're saying, we care about people first, they pay people, and personal development is so important to us. And then the way they do it is they hope that you learn on a weekend, and they maybe, get one training guru to the team, once a year, and that's it. That's how much they care about personal development. And in our line of work, in Nozbe and Nozbe Teams, we have apps for all the platforms. And things change all the time. The internet marketing changes all the time. Everything, the whole technology stack changes all the time. Like, think about, when I started Nozbe, it was just a web app for a desktop, and now it's a completely, different thing. So it changes all the time. So we need to be able to embrace the change, to learn. Just as I said, I'm learning new JavaScript or new CSS and all that stuff. Our programmers, they have to, get new language skills. They have to be better in their, writing skills.
Yeah, it's like time for gaining new skills that you will use later in day-to-day work.
Exactly. And this is also the time to catch up, without any guilt on a conference you wanted to watch. Like, there was an online conference with lots of great content. Now it's time to binge watch it. Just, on Friday, do your weekly review and start watching a conference. Nobody will tell you anything. It's perfect. So it's this. So like in our company, we already have this habit that many people save stuff for later because they know that they can get to it on a Friday. So we don't watch things, during the week much, because we know that on a Friday we have time for that, to catch up on the vlogs or videos or conferences or tutorials or anything like this. And also, one thing I want to mention is what Stephen Covey is always saying: sharpen the saw. So it is also a great time, for example, to watch a tutorial of your favorite app that you're using, to see maybe you don't like we always say that with Nozbe. Watch damn tutorial, because there are many features that you might not be aware of, and you could be using them, and just you would be better at your work because learn.
Yeah, you can
improve shortcuts or something.
Improve your workflow to be more productive. Just to normal activities would take less time for you, thanks to this.
Exactly. So this is why we have MightyFriday. That's why we decided, let's publish this on a Friday as an inspiration, always a reminder. Guys, everyone who's listening to this, today is Friday. Please do your weekly review and focus on your personal development. I think your employer, even if they are not embracing MightyFriday policy, they would thank you for it, because you will be a better team member.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our first episode of NoOffice podcast. Thanks for listening, and remember one more time, today is Friday, so make it MightyFriday. Do your weekly review, learn something new, and have a great weekend. If you have questions for us or want to share your NoOffice story related to this episode, please leave a comment under this episode's entry at nooffice.fm/1, where 1 stands for this episode's number. Again, to get all the show notes and leave feedback, go to nooffice.fm/1.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.